Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to insert this data on this table into MySQL database. So I already have a video explaining how to install MySQL and also how to connect MySQL to popsql. So in this tutorial, we are going to go straight to actually creating a database with MySQL and then creating a table to insert this product. So on this product, you can see that we have the first column, which is the serial number. This can also be called the identifiers of each of the rows. We also have the name. We have cost price, selling price, quantity, and categories. So the cost price is of different type from the quantity. So in creating the table and also the database, I'm going to show you guys how to differentiate between the integers and also the decimal number, because as you can see on this table, we have the selling price column which has some numbers with decimal points. So I'm going to show you guys how to create the appropriate column and the data type for each of the columns. So first and first, let's go straight to our search and open the MySQL command line interface. So that's what we have here. So I'm going to open it, and this is going to ask for password. So the password is actually the one we used while installing MySQL. So I'm going to type the password and open it. So now the first thing I'm going to do is to type the command to create a new database. So I'm going to give this table, I'm going to give it a new database name, which is a inventory company. So that's going to be the name of the database. Create database. Made a mistake. Inventory company. So we have this query. Okay, so once you see this, it means that the database has been created successfully, and then we can do show databases. This is going to show us a list of all the databases on our DBMS. So currently we have the database that we just created. These are the other databases we have on this particular DBMS. So we have to connect to this database from popsql, and to do that, open your popsql. I have a video explaining how to install popsql and how to connect to MySQL. So go to your command, go to your account name and click connection. So this is going to bring up all the connections we have. Let me go ahead and delete all these. Let's create a new connection. So I'm going to select MySQL from this list, and then the host name. Since we are connecting to MySQL locally, I'm going to use this host name. So 127.0.0.1. Then the database name. This is the database that we just created. So I'm going to use inventory company. And the password. So you can go ahead and toggle on this because we are connecting to database that is running locally on our device. Then we can test the connection. So it says looks good. That means the connection is working. Then we can just click connect to our database. So let's go ahead and create the product table and also the necessary columns. So first and first, we want to type the command for creating a table. So you to create table, then the table name, products. Now we want to indicate all the columns. The first column we have here is the serial number. This can be the ID. It's of type integer, and then we want to give it auto increment. So what auto increment does is that we don't want to be manually increasing the count. So we want MySQL to take care of numbering the rows. Okay, so that's why we have auto increment here. Then we also don't want this column to have a null value, so we are going to add not null. The next column is the name. So varchar 20 means that we don't want to have a product that has more than 20 characters in its name. So the product value shouldn't exceed 20 characters. Then not null means that every row and every column for the product should have a name. So we don't want to have an empty column. You also have the cost price, and the selling price. Quantity. Then we have the category. We also want to ensure that the serial number is actually the primary key for this particular table. So what the primary key does is that a primary key is a key that can be used to uniquely identify each row on a table. So we can make this the primary key at the bottom. So this means that the ID is a primary key. Okay. Then we can run this query. You add your semicolon. And let's run this. So this means that we've successfully created a table called products. Okay. So when I go to let's query the tables. So we can see from the query result that products have been returned. So this is the only table we have. And let's insert our first value into the products table. So inserting into the products table, the first thing we want to do is to select the columns that we want to populate, and then impute the values that we want to use to populate those columns accordingly. To impute the name column, cost price, quantity, category. Okay, so these are the columns that we want to populate. Then the serial number is going to be populated automatically because that is what the DBMS does. And also, let's not forget that it has auto increment attribute. So this auto increment attribute is going to help us populate the ID column. So these are the values that we need to populate with the name. So first item we have on this table is orange. Cost is 10, selling is 20, quantity is 10, 10, 20. Then the category is fruits. So don't forget to add your semicolon at the end of each command. Then let's click run. So this has been run successfully. As you can see, it says one row affected. Now let's query the products table. So as you can see from the query result, orange has been returned with the ID of 1, cost price of 10, and selling price of 20. Alright, so I have successfully added all the products on this particular table into our database. So let's query our table again to see what we have. So as you can see from the query result, all the products in the table has been returned. The cost price, selling price, and when we scroll to the right, we can also see the quantity and the category. So now let's update the first row with the ID of 1. So I want to change the cost price to maybe let's say 15 or 12. So I want to update products set the orange. So I want to set the cost price $15, where ID is equals to 1. So let's run this. So it says 1 row affected. So let's query our database again to see if the row has been updated. So as you can see, the new cost price for the orange is now $15, and the selling price is still the same, and the other columns on the same row are still the same. So this is the end of this video. If you found it helpful, like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.